It's challenge time. In this video, I'm going to go through an exercise that I use with students to get them back into the kind of photographic process, get those juices flowing. It's called hunter-gatherers. Very loosely based around kind of our ancestral past. If you think about our ancestors, when they wanted to go out for food, you would either have hunters that would have a specific task, you need to go out with a bow and arrow, shoot a deer, bring it back to the tribe, or you would be gathering, or a combination of both, where you'd be going along with a bag or a basket, picking berries, nuts, that sort of thing, finding things along the way. So we're going to apply that to our photography, and the first part is going to be hunting. So we're going to hunt for a particular photograph. We're going to do all the planning ahead of time, conceptualize it, work out exactly what that frame is going to look like, do all the planning, and then we're going to go out, and when it comes to it, we have one singular shot. That's very hard to even get your head around in a modern digital world where you can snap away all the time, but you only have one frame, so it has to be absolutely spot on. So that's going to be the hunting bit. We'll then move to the gathering phase, and that's almost the complete opposite of that. We're going to go to a particular location. We will sort of plan where we want to go for that. But other than that, we have no expectation of the type of photographs that we're going to be taking, what we might see there. And we'll have a bit of a wander around and guide us through that process of getting in to a different kind of mode of photography, of just being open to what might be there and what catches our eye. Sometimes when we've been taking photographs for a while, we kind of get a bit of camera paralysis, that we're really conscious that we're not getting the best photograph in the world. The conditions might not be quite right, and we end up just, our cameras can gather dust. We just don't get out enough. So this exercise is really good for getting some of that mojo back and getting back into the field with our cameras. And actually falling back in love a little bit with a camera, of actually re-engaging that feeling that you get when you first get your camera or a new camera and really just want to photograph everything. So the first thing we're going to do is think of a scene that we'd really like to photograph, that we're going to hunt for. And that might be something that you've walked past, might be something that you've seen on a regular basis but you just didn't have your camera with you, or it might be a scene that you've seen online, be it on social media or on the web. So I've got my computer up, and it's this scene here down at Portruth that I've had in my head. I've seen on social media quite frequently recently. So I really like some of these images. It's a lovely bit of framing going on there. Alternative view. But I think I really like the composition, yeah, I like that, where you have the leading line of the harbour wall going out, waves breaking behind. It's been taken 1,000 times, but it really appeals to me. So I'm going to have a little look at how I could potentially get that image. So when you're looking at these things, I mean, obviously I already know where this is, but you'll quite often find some location data, or potentially down in the hashtags. Like I've got Portruth here, so we know it's down at Portruth. So that gives us a starting point. You might want to look at OS Maps, or Google Maps is quite a good place to start, or others if you so wish. Let's have a little look at Portruth. And have a little zoom in. There we go. So we know that the beach is down here. We've got the car park, and we've got the main harbour here. Quite hard to work out where our scene is, but if we flip it into satellite, we can see the harbour wall going out, and we can even see the little hut on the end there. So if I flip back to the image, we can see it sort of square onto the hut, and we've got the wall facing out. So that must be from back here somewhere, in order to kind of get that straight line down to the hut with the curve, almost exacerbates the curve. And we can see down here we've got a bit of flat ground, and there's that little hut up there above the harbour wall. So in terms of planning, in order to line my shot up, I'm probably going to want my camera about there so that I can shoot out towards the hut with this nice curve of the harbour wall, hopefully with some waves breaking behind, depending on what the weather's doing. In order to find out what the waves are doing, I'm going to need some tide information. So you might have an app on your phone to do this, but let's just have a little look at this. So on Thursday, in order for waves to be breaking behind the hut there, we're going to need pretty much high tide. We're on the push. So high tide is at 2:33 this afternoon. We'd probably get waves breaking over the top in the hour leading up to that. So we probably want to be there at about 1:30, something like that, set up, so that we can wait for a moment, remembering that we've only got one shot that we can possibly do. So let's see what the weather's going to be doing at that point. All sorts of different weather apps you can use. I really like XC Weather. I've got the app on my phone as well, because that's just a bit more convenient, but just showing you on this one. Let's have a little look at Portreath. And today we can see at 1, as if by magic, sun hopefully will come out by then. I never entirely trust it, but hopefully it will. 12% cloud, so there should be a little bit of interest in the sky, but hopefully not completely clouded over. It's chilly, 7 degrees, so I'm definitely going to be taking lots of warm layers with me if I'm going to be waiting around. And the wind speed is reasonably calm, 9 to 12 miles per hour. So we know it's reasonably safe to be out there. We're not going to get blown off our little space, and tripod stabilization should be fairly simple. It is from the north though, so that's why it's really, really cold, and that should be pushing the waves into that jetty. I don't think the waves will be massive because of the wind speed, but let's just have a little look on Magic Seaweed, which is designed for surfers, but is really useful for us as well. Where's the search bar gone? There it is. Let's try spelling it right. The wind speeds, it will agree, sort of 1 mile an hour, very light at the moment. But the surf is 4 to 6 feet, so it's not massive, but that might have a bit of interest. That might be okay. A more advanced option for planning is using something like the Photo Pills app, which has a bit of everything. It can be a bit daunting when you first get on it, but this is an amazing tool for doing your planning and working out where everything is. So if I just zoom out from this, and let's work our way up the coast where I was working before. Portreath, zoom in, and we can see that we've got our little promontory where we want to put the camera. We'll tap that in there. And just check that we're on the right day. Now, yep, good. So if we scroll forth to just gone 1, we can see that the sun will actually kind of be behind us, so it should be illuminating the hut really nicely. If we wanted to get a golden hour shot, we'd need to be there at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That shows it quite nicely. The sun will be setting over in that direction, so it wouldn't be behind. And you could do this for any date in the future. So we could be planning, 6 months ahead potentially. Wouldn't know what the weather was doing, but you would know where the sun was going to be. So it gives you golden hour information, blow hour information. When you go into night, it will even give you celestial information of where the Milky Way might be, They do that in augmented reality now as well, so you can line up your shot during the day as to where the Milky Way might be, and then come back at the right time and get it. So really, really useful. Got loads of other features as well, so it'll give you information about sunrise, sunset, golden hours, all that kind of stuff, exposure settings, where the moon's going to be, all sorts, absolutely all sorts. It will even give you an overlay of meteor showers and all sorts when you get into it. But for our purposes, it's just quite handy to know where the sun is going to be when we're going to be there, which is that yellow line extending out behind us, which should put a nice bit of light onto the hut. So here we are in location, pretty much as we expected really. There's quite a bit of cloud cover, so the sun's gone behind that. So I was walking down, there was a lovely bit of light on the hut, which has disappeared sadly. But I've got a bit of time, so I'm just going to sort of sit here and hope that that cloud shifts over. It does look like quite a large cloud bank. We have got some waves breaking over the back. They're not the super impressive ones that you see on a big storm day, but it is what it is, and we are getting some. And certainly the composition is working out just as we wanted it really from this location. We've got that lovely little S-bend in the harbour wall there going out towards the hut, and I've composed it on a rule of thirds so that the hut is on one of those intersections. The other thing that I kind of knew ahead of time is that I wanted to compress the image quite a bit, so I've come out with a 24-70 lens, which is in most of the way, I would imagine. Yeah, it's right on 70 at the moment, so it's in right the way, so I can compress the image. So now it's just a waiting game. I'm waiting for light, and ideally light that coincides with a big wave coming behind it. It's very frustrating, like I'm having to hang on to my hands. Like that would have been all right, to take just one shot, but knowing that I've got just one shot, I really want to wait for that perfect moment.